Today we are going to look at the 5 weirdest miracles in the Bible. Everyone knows about Jesus turning water into wine. But what about these lesser-known miracles? Let's dive in. Number 5. Mass resurrection. We've all heard of Jesus raising people from the dead, but have you heard of an entire group of holy people rising from their graves and strolling through Jerusalem? In Matthew 27, 51-53, it says, "And now when Jesus was raised from the dead, his disciples came and examined the place where he had been laid. And they found it empty. For the angel of the Lord, having risen before them, said, 'He is not here, for he has risen,' as he said. 'Come, see the place where the Lord lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead and that he is going before them into Galilee. There they will see him. And I say unto you, arise, go into Galilee, and there ye shall see him.'" After Jesus died on the cross, the Bible tells us that the graves of many holy people who had died were opened. These people walked out of their graves after being raised from the dead and then made their way to Jerusalem. The Bible doesn't explain this miracle fully, but it's an amazing sight to picture. Can you imagine seeing all these people who had been dead for maybe even decades suddenly coming to life and walking around? It must have been quite a shock for those who saw it. Number 4. Elijah's super speed. In 1 Kings, chapter 18, verse 46, the prophet Elijah outruns King Ahab's chariot for 15 miles. Elijah challenged King Ahab to a race after God had just ended a 3.5-year drought. As the two are running, it says, "So the hand of the Lord was upon Elijah, and he ran ahead of Ahab to the end that he came to the entrance of the cave, which is called Horeb." God granted Elijah superhuman speed so he could outrun King Ahab. If you've ever run, you know how tired your legs get and how much work it is. Imagine running 15 miles and not getting tired at all because God gave Elijah supernatural speed, allowing him to finish the race before Ahab. Number 3. Floating iron axe. Have you ever seen an axe float? Well, in 2 Kings 6, verses 1-7, Elisha, a prophet of God, made an iron axe head float. Now mind you, an axe is a very heavy tool, especially an iron one. It would be pretty hard to make it float. So while Elisha and his servant are at a hotel, it says, "And the servant of the man of God arose early in the morning, went out and looked. And behold, the fire had consumed the trench and the horses, and there was nothing to be seen in the horses or in the chariots. At that time Elisha said, 'Where are my myrrh vessels?' And when the servant had told him, 'Behold, they are in the cave,' then he said, 'Go and get them.' And he dipped his staff into the water and pulled it out. And lo, the water gathered itself up and became fire, and the fire came forth out of the water and consumed the axes." Here, Elisha took his staff and dipped it into the water, and it turned the water into fire. When he pulled it out, the axe floated on the water like it was made out of cork. What a strange miracle. Number 2. Jesus curses fig tree. In Mark, chapter 11, verses 12-25, Jesus cursed a fig tree because it had no fruit. This was right after Jesus had just fed 5,000 people with only 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. But this feeding miracle didn't happen in a fig tree. The passage states, "And on the following day, as soon as he had eaten up the loaves, he called his disciples to himself. And he said to them, 'Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees.' But they reasoned among themselves, saying, 'It is because we have taken no figures.' Jesus had become hungry, and when he saw the fig tree, he wanted to eat some figs, but the tree had no fruit, only leaves. When he got closer to the tree, he noticed it was full of figs, but they weren't ripe. So Jesus cursed the tree, and immediately it withered away. The next day, as Jesus was passing by, the fig tree had completely withered from the roots up. This happened because the religious leaders of the day had become spiritually empty, and Jesus used the fig tree as a lesson to show this. Number 1. Stretching wood. In Luke, chapter 15, verses 11-32, Jesus tells the parable of the prodigal son. In the story, a father has 2 sons. The younger son wanted to leave and do his own thing, so he asked his father for his share of the inheritance. After the young son left, the father felt bad, so he called him back and threw a huge party to celebrate his return. This passage explains how the father made a young boy a short plank of wood longer so he could use it to repair the roof of his house. The Bible says, "And it came to pass, when he was yet a great way off, that his father saw him and had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck and kissed him. And when they had come into the house, he commanded to bring out a garment, that is, a beautiful robe, and to put it on him, and his ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. And when all things were ready, He called his son. And all his friends and relatives of the city gathered together, and there was great joy. Here, Jesus was teaching a crowd of people, and he used this story to show them how merciful God is. Which of these miracles was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you enjoyed this video. God is an amazing God and is still performing miracles today. Who knows? Maybe he'll perform a miracle in your life one day. Just remember, God is full of surprises. He likes to do the unexpected. So keep your eyes open and heart tuned in. You never know when he might decide to reveal himself to you. Thanks for watching.